Okay, we cook Glaciar savory Glaciar. This time we prepare the ingredients first.
Hey, I'm John Cannell. Today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making baklava. So let's get started. So first we're assembling the baklava. Then while it's in the oven, we'll make this easy, amazing syrup to pour all over the top. First off, we're gonna melt 1 cup or 226 grams of unsalted butter. I'm using the stove today because you're gonna wanna reheat this as needed. When the butter cools down, you get a lot of butter on your phyllo dough, and we actually just want a very thin layer on each sheet. We're gonna set this over medium-low heat and just keep an eye on it. You want it to be warm and melty. While your butter melts, we're gonna be grinding those nuts up. I'm using a combination of walnuts and pistachios, but go all walnuts, go all pistachios, do whatever you like. It's your baklava. We're gonna pulse these nuts so they're finely chopped, not like meal, but nice small pieces, but we still have some crunch. Just like this. You can see there's small pieces, good bit of crunch, but they're nice and small. Transferring these nuts to a large bowl. I'm gonna mix in 1/4 cup of sugar for some sweetness, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. You can let me know in the comments if you have other spices you really like adding to your baklava. Okay. So in case you don't know, baklava is an amazing Turkish dessert. It's popular all over the place because it is delicious. However, it's best fresh. Right out of the oven, you're gonna see it is like pure, crispy amazingness. So if you've had some disappointing baklava from a bakery, it might have just been a bit stale. Okay, this is all mixed up and ready to go. We're gonna set this aside and get our phyllo dough out. I'm using 1 package of phyllo dough, and I thawed this overnight. That's the best way, but if you forgot, you can leave it on the counter for like 3 hours and it should be fine. Get a sharp knife and trim this to the size of your pan. This is so close, but it just needs like 1 inch taken off. There we go. This brings back so many memories because my mom would make phyllo dough appetizers for basically every get-together. The one thing you want to watch out for with phyllo dough is it dries out so quickly. So I'm just going to use the rest of this covering and keep it covered while I talk and work so that it doesn't dry out. You could also use a very slightly damp towel. You also don't want to get it too wet though. Grab your melted butter, grab a brush, and we're gonna get to work. So the deal is you want 10 layers on the bottom. Give your pan just a really quick brush of butter. Now we're gonna place our first layer of phyllo dough on. If you have a tear, it's totally fine, by the way. You have so many layers to come. Now we're gonna brush that warm butter on top. Just get a nice thin layer. The butter is gonna fry this phyllo dough in the oven, really, so it's gonna be so golden and crispy. First layer done, got several to go. Okay, we're gonna pile 10 layers of phyllo dough on the base. And repeat. So phyllo dough is so versatile. Yes, you can use it for savory things. Yes, you can use it for sweet things too. And it's really great for making appetizers. Okay, that's 9. And last one, 10. I'm gonna add about 1 cup, a little bit more to this base layer. Just sprinkle it over the top, get a nice even layer. Give this a little bit of a shimmy just to make sure it's all even. And now we're gonna add more phyllo. Lay that layer on top. Carefully brush with butter, and I'm just gonna hold one side so it doesn't move around too much. And if you notice that your butter is like a little bit too thick or too cool, just pop it right back over low heat. A lot of these dishes that my grandfather really cherished, like baklava and dolmadas and everything else, are labors of love. So if you love having that quiet time in the kitchen, like this is for you, because you're just gonna be with your dish. Layer 4. We're gonna do 6 layers for this. Okay, layer 6. This is our last layer of this section. Now it's time for another third of our mixture. I'm adding a cup and change right over the top. So sprinkle it over, a little bit of a shimmy, and now we're on to the next layer of 6. Layer 5, it is so satisfying to see this build up slowly. I don't know why, it's like one of the most personally satisfying things I could do. Layer 6, okay, we're gonna give this a butter. All right, we're gonna sprinkle our mixture on top, and now our final layer of 10. So it might seem like, oh, this is so much work. It really isn't, it goes by quickly. And a little tip from my mother is if you're ever doing anything with phyllo dough, just double the recipe, make 2, and pop one into the freezer. I'm really just brushing on a really thin layer of butter. One final brushing with butter, and I will say this is not ready to pop into the oven because we're gonna score it. So right now I'm scoring every 2 inches. Sometimes I go a little bit overboard and make massive baklava, which is fine, but this is better. And now we're gonna do a cut. So I'm gonna cut horizontally. If you're freezing this for later, by the way, you would score it now and then freeze it. Okay, I have my giant strips of baklava right now. We're going to be cutting them at an angle for diamond shapes. This is scored out in a very satisfying diamond pattern. So now we're gonna pop this into the oven, 350 for about 50 minutes. And while it bakes, we'll make our delicious honey lemon syrup. First, the honey syrup, then the lemon. 1 cup of water into a pot, half a cup of sugar, 100 grams. And now for 1 cup of honey, which is 340 grams. Okay, this is gonna go over medium-high heat. Give it occasional stirs, and once it comes to a boil, keep an eye on it. You might have to reduce the heat. While it's cooking, zest and juice 1 lemon. Off heat after 10 minutes, now we're gonna stir our lemon juice and zest in, get all that zest out because it has so much flavor, and then just set this aside. You're gonna notice the most amazing lemon smell coming off of this. As soon as it's out of the oven, you're gonna pour your syrup all over this baklava. Do you hear that? That sounds and smells amazing. It's making this all come together and just be perfectly like syrupy, sweet, amazing treat. Look at those flaky layers with all the nuts and syrup. These are delicious. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe, and if you like this recipe, check out my dessert playlist.